Fight fans, welcome back to Carl Prusa MMA. Today I am with a familiar face to the channel. He is a friend of the channel. He is a middleweight fighter. He is the soul snatcher. He's Mr. Dylan O'Sullivan. Dylan, what's up, my friend? It's been a minute. How
So
you been?
I've been great, man. I living life to the fullest, doing my best to be my best each day, and loving it. Living the dream and still chasing what I can accomplish in MMA and enjoying it one step at a time.
Absolutely. You're always up to something. And I
Yeah,
think what you got going on now is pretty cool. You're going to be representing Team USA in this Black Cup put on by Black
yeah.
Combat over in Seoul, South Korea. Why don't you tell us a little bit? What is this tournament all about?
So it is Black Combat. They're the biggest promotion over in Korea, in South Korea right now, and they are doing the first ever MMA World Cup. So there's 8 teams. There's 7 countries because Korea has 2 teams. Korea has Team Alpha and Omega. Then there's Japan, Brazil, China, Mongolia, USA, and Eurasia. And it's a 7-man team, flyweight all the way up to heavyweight, but they skip light heavyweight. I'm not really sure why, but it goes 185, then it goes straight to heavyweight. And so basically, it's single elimination. There's 7 people on each team. So, like, we're going against Team Korea Alpha. And as long as 4 out of our 7 fighters win, we all go to the next round. And then there'll be, so they have the first round, obviously, there's 4 different uh, nights of fights. Like, after we fight, there'll be 2 weeks later, Japan goes against Brazil. And then 2 weeks later, China versus Mongolia. 2 weeks later, Eurasia versus Team Korea Omega. Korea Omega. And then it'll go to the second round, and then we'll fight because we're gonna win, and then we'll fight the winner of Japan versus Brazil. Then we'll beat them, and then we'll fight whoever wins on the other side of the bracket. And the winning team gets a big prize. It's like around 250,000 US. So it's a really cool opportunity, and getting finding it was all super cool too. Like the guy who found me for it, he was the agent, and he found me, offered me the opportunity to go out to LA and try out in front of like the owners of Black Combat, and or I don't know, Godfather Black. I think he's part owner. I'm not quite sure on all the specifics of that, but he's like the Dana White of the promotion, and it was super cool. Like, we trained with some of the Korean people and some of their representatives, and I got to meet some of the other Team USA people, and then they sent me back home, and then we had to wait and see which team we went against, and they told us we'd fight in March or April. Then they told us March 14th. We found that out about beginning of February. I think it was like February 1st. They're like, all right, March 14th, and we got our visas all situated, and now I leave on Saturday. It's pretty wild, man. Like, I'm ready to go take this first round and put a show on in Korea and show them what USA is all about.
Absolutely. When you look at Team USA here, I mean, it's almost like a regional scene all-star team, I guess, if you will. You got big O'Shea Jordan out there representing
Yes.
the heavyweights, Miles
Yeah. States.
Hunsinger. You got Lake G, big undefeated top prospect there. Isaiah Torres is on here. Cheka Willis is on here. He's done some PFL action. Daniel McElhaney. I mean, honestly, a very stacked team. Is it pretty cool to be with a bunch of other fighters that are also kind of battling on the regional scene? You guys are also
Yeah.
kind of similar career trajectories right now.
It's super cool, honestly, because I feel like everybody, it's that next step of where, you could fight for an American regional promotion for a title opportunity or something good. But the opportunity to go represent our country and fly all the way to Korea to get to do what I love and win over fans in Korea. I know that they're gonna love me over there, and I'm gonna love them. It's gonna be an awesome experience and journey, and I just think to get to do that with other guys that are right, they decided to take this. It was a very unknown thing, you know. You're going to the unknown, and you are literally fighting. Uh, Prospects in the world across the world, you know, like it's not just America, but I do feel that America is the strongest scene um as far as beginning up as a pro. Like the competition is just so high in America, and it's you know, opportunities are very available in America, but the opportunity to get to go across the world for me was just it was a no-brainer for me.
What I think is really cool is, I, like so many other people, started watching from the first season of The Ultimate Fighter, and that was back in 2005. And at the time, mixed martial arts, it wasn't what it was today. I mean, obviously, Pride had been the thing going on. You had WEC, you had these other promotions, but it wasn't legal in every place around the world. It wasn't legal at every state. People are calling it human cockfighting at one point.
Yes, yes.
People who did this, were like
They're
criminals.
barbaric and yeah.
Did you ever envision a time? I'm sure you started watching at a similar time in your life. Do you ever envision a time where it would be as global as what it is right now?
I mean, I did and I didn't, if that makes sense, because I feel like it was ever since it started, I feel like it never slowed down its growth. Like obviously, like it expanded, and even today, it's probably expanding at a ridiculous rate still. But once I got around it and I fell in love with it, it was like I just like I expect myself to be able to reach the achievements I think I can. I see it just growing. Of course, I don't think it'll be in my time, but I believe like someone like myself would be getting paid like a NFL player, you know, like, and it will be like MMA fighters in the UFC and these large promotions, even like maybe Black Combat, they will be getting paid like good money, you know. Um, but I also who I don't know, you never know with that because I always like to preach on that and talk about that, but then at the same time I think, you know what, it's what makes fighting pure and it makes fighters hungry because you have to fight to make it, you know, it's not easy at all.
One thing that I'm really starting to notice now, obviously, back in the day, a lot of guys would start doing this in their 20s. Some people in there, I think Anderson Silva started in his late 20s,
Yeah.
maybe in his 30s and everything. You and your brother, you guys run a gym. You're seeing kids come in doing jiu-jitsu like
Oh,
under 10 years old. They're getting youth bouts. They're turning amateur when they can. The pros, maybe 5-0, 6-0 at 21, 22 years old now. Is it pretty cool to see the growth just within your own gym?
oh yeah, it is. Within our gym it's been really cool. And so my gym now has been open for over a year, and it's cool because to see the difference of when my brother first owned the gym and I first got into this sport to like and see like how many people, you know, I stuck with it and where I'm at now and see like people it's crazy to be able to have the experience I have and get to share it now with these new kids that like you said, I have a kid there's a couple kids that are like 19 years old that they've been training for 2 3 years, you know, already, and they're solid and they're fighting amateur already. And I just see, but it's crazy because I always see that these kids could turn pro, you know, and like you were saying, be 6-0 in 3-0, getting on the contender series, 21, 22 years old. And but it's that weird thing in my head. I think it's always like everybody's on their own journey because I remember when I was that age, I thought like, oh, if then I would have told you by the time I'm 31, I'll be uh, retired from the UFC. You know what I mean? Like, but then you realize how more difficult it is than that. But I feel now the young kids really do absorb like a sponge and they listen, you know, and which is great. Like the community we have in our gym, I feel like they really listen to us. And you know, I've trained at Killcliff, one of the biggest gyms in the world, and I have the I don't have all the obviously the people that they have in there and the knowledge they have, but I have a lot of the lessons I've learned from not only the coaches there, but the teammates I've met and things I've seen people go through. So it's cool to be able to utilize my experience and share that with these kids, and they look up to that, and it's cool. And our gym, we're all about love, loyalty, and friendship. So it's I feel we're helping better these young kids too, and that's all I could really ask for, is if I see a kid that uh needs just a little guidance, it's really cool to get to help these kids and see where their journey could go, because I think any and all of them could become the next star, but that's the beauty of this, is all what you're going to do when the fire hits you.
Absolutely. Obviously, you've been around the fight game for quite a long time, competing for quite a long time, but recently now putting on the head coach's hat. What is the balance like in finding matches for some of your guys? Are you looking for stylistic? Do you want to find a test? What is that like?
um Experience. I think experience is the most important thing, especially as an amateur. If I don't want to put any of my guys into a fight with someone who's got a lot of fights, unless, like, if I have a kid who starts, he's going 4-0, I'd put him with an amateur that had a lot of fights. But I think, when these guys are 1-0, 0-1, 2-0, 1-1, 0-2. They just need to fight guys all with similar like records. Um, Obviously, if someone is losing, I want to try and help them get a a more favorable matchup to be able to go in there and get their confidence and build that forward, because I think that's important. But I think that they need to get those skills and learn. Like, if they're gonna lose, they need to lose. Like, I lost a decent bit as an amateur, and I've lost twice professionally. And you got to be able to. It's what you do when you lose. It's not always about winning. And I think that's what determines a fighter, is how they, watch the people when they lose. How do they act when they lose? Because it's easy to win. So I think I don't want to protect them too much. I obviously don't want anyone getting hurt. So I wouldn't put someone in there with someone that was way different skill level than them, or like size difference or something, But I think amateur fighting, if you come to me and you tell me you want to fight, all right, I'm gonna get you in there as soon as I can, Like, I think let's get them in there and see how they go, Like, obviously I don't want no one to get hurt, but if you want to fight, I think let's go fight and see how you do. And if because if you do lose, it's going to tell me a lot how you go forward from there. And if you win, it'll tell me a lot too, because I can see, okay, does they take the win and then they slack off and they think, oh, now they're undefeated 1-0 amateur fighter, or do they put the work in and get better, So I think let them fight. That's the biggest thing for me.
We've talked in the past about this whole phenomenon of, is fighting more mental, is fighting more physical. Now, after being a coach and seeing young guys go through it, is it even more mental in your opinion?
I'll tell you this, coaching is the most difficult part of it. It's way more difficult. Like, coaching, cornering, going to these guys' fights, that's way more nerve wracking and puts way more anxiety on me, because I have no control of it. Obviously I train these guys and get them as best prepared with the team that we have to be ready for whatever, but you're not. You lose control when the person goes in the cage, So that's why I love fighting myself, because if something goes wrong for me, if I win or lose, something goes to hell, I am in control. It's up to me on how I respond and how I react. I don't have to worry about everyone else's what's gonna happen with them. That's why I love it. I love the freedom in fighting for that reason. But coaching, it's tough, because if after someone loses, I feel like I really need to tell them, some motivational, inspirational things to help them go, and use that as a good fuel to their fire. Versus, and or if someone wins too, it's like it's just you. I think about the impact of things that have happened to me, and I like to have a positive impact on these guys. So coaching, I think, it makes it very mental.
Absolutely. Your last time out, you fought regionally or locally in the Tennessee area. You took an RJ Hayes, great performance, was able to pick up a
Yeah.
big victory. I think your quickest finish ever, 15
Yeah, as
seconds
quick as
into it.
15 seconds. Yeah,
Well,
it put him down. It was a quick. He didn't want to be in there with me. It was a bit of a, I don't know. I feel like he gave up before when he looked across at me. I felt like he was done. But it was great to get back on the winning side of things, and in my hometown, it was nice. Quick victory. Can't beat that. I hit him with a head kick, and then he fell, and I dropped a couple elbows.
from a confidence standpoint, obviously before that, lost MMA contest or two MMA contests in a row, lost your time in karate combat. How big for the mental side and confidence was that win?
Oh man, it's huge. I feel just getting your hand raised is a very important thing, and it can change the momentum of a lot of things. Just think about in life when one thing goes wrong, and then another thing goes wrong, and then another thing goes wrong. It's like you're waiting for that thing to go right to help get that spirit inside of you go back in the right direction, and that's what it feels like, and it's cool too because I can look at things from a philosophical standpoint. And honestly, you asking me that just it makes me go deep into the thought of the mental side of it, and I am in a very safe space in my mind now. My belief in myself is stronger than it's ever been. So I'm ready to go, you know.
Absolutely. So when you go over to South Korea, you're going to be taking on Dong Joo Yeo here, first round matchup of this tournament. Overall, what do you think of him as an opponent here?
I think he's a big guy. He looks like he's tall. He looks like he's pretty got physicality to him. But when I've seen, I think I flatline him. I think it's going to be one of my best performances I've ever had. Way better than even that 15-second performance. I just feel I'm going to really find the holes to really show my strengths.
Absolutely. We haven't seen too much of him, obviously. He's only 3-1. But when you do look at his topology, you see some finishes on there. So you get the idea he's probably going to go out there and bang and strike with you. Is this the type of fight you like?
I love it. I love it because to be honest, when I look at it, I don't see how he beats me, and it just gives me the confidence of knowing that anywhere I want to take this fight, I can, and I feel the most dangerous at that point because I will say, I don't like a grappler that's just gonna come out and grapple. Like I'm okay with grappling because I've learned that that's gonna be what people have wanted to do to me my whole MMA career is they want to grapple me. They strike. I've never had someone in MMA strike with me and be like, "Yep, I'm just gonna stay here and strike with this guy." Not once. In pro, amateur, doesn't matter. In other sports, like when I fought pro boxing, I got showed that pro boxing is another level, and I realized the respect I have for the people that train that, like I think I could do very good at boxing if I trained it, but I took that opportunity last minute and I saw the skill gap, but in MMA, I've not had any guy step across from me that I had any issues with striking, so I have a lot of confidence knowing that I feel I can out grapple this guy as well. And my grappling has exceeded to a new level that I feel I'm confident for anyone. And
Absolutely.
my goal is going to be to stop you from grappling me, and I'm going to strike you.
Absolutely. I thought it's really interesting. You mentioned a little earlier in the interview if someone asked you what you'd be doing 10 years ago, where the next 10 years would be, be 31, retired from the UFC, all this type of stuff. I think for so long, a lot of people thought, as the sport was developing and growing, getting to the UFC is achieving the dream. Getting to the UFC is the ultimate destination. For a lot of people, it still is. But when you look at what you've done, man, you haven't made it to the UFC yet. But I
Yes.
mean, you've done more than like probably what 90%. You fought on some big regional promotions, Baroka. You fought on XFC, Karate Combat, one of the biggest
Yeah.
promotions in the world.
Yeah.
Now you get to represent your country, United States, take part of this inaugural thing. It's pretty cool to see where your journey's come.
Oh man, it's beautiful. I'm very proud of where I've come, and I'm excited to see it unfold still. I know I still have a lot of youth left in me, and I feel like I'm just coming into my prime. I wouldn't even say I've hit it yet. So I I'm proud of what I've done and the opportunity. And it was cool because I ran into a guy, Adam Townsend. I don't know if you know who he is. He was a very good MMA fighter from my area, from my, like, right around, he's from my home pretty much. And he never made it to the UFC, but he fought in M1, he fought ACB, he fought RFA before LFA was just LFA. And it was like they did the battle of them against. He fought in a couple other promotions, but he fought in China, Austria, Russia, Australia. He fought like literally all over the world. And watching his journey, I always thought was so cool. But he didn't make it to the UFC, and then it was cool. I saw him today when I was out to eat at Barbaritos, and he was talking to me about it. And in my head, I want to become a world champion. And right now, I see myself becoming the Black Cup world champion this year, 2026, and I'm going to be in Korea. It's just cool because it's right there in the grasp for me. And that's what I realize is, yeah, the UFC would be cool, but at the same time, this is such a great opportunity, and I will love to be able to call myself the Black Cup, Black Combat Champion. Like, it sounds great to me.
Absolutely. What I love about martial arts, we talked about this a little bit before, but it's the values, the disciplines, the morals. I've had guys on this show tell me when they first began their journey in martial arts, they weren't who they were today. They maybe they lacked guidance. Martial arts turned the father they are, the husband they are, the person they are today. For you, how have you grown and evolved from your time in martial arts?
Oh man, it's taught me that the number one thing that it's taught me is discipline, and I've realized because every human, I feel like, will always uh look back at their life and question themselves where they could have done this, could have done that, and it proves to me, like, I've stayed true to this for 15, almost 16 years now, and it's definitely taught me a lot of lessons in so many ways. So I would say it definitely makes me the person I am. It makes me the lover I am. It makes me the fighter I am. I always say I'm a natural born lover, but I love to fight. So it's uh, it's definitely shaped me into who I am
How much fun are you having right now?
a lot. like honestly, like, just thinking about this opportunity, getting to talk to you about my passion, like, it unfolding. It's surreal. It's amazing. I'm having a lot of fun.
Absolutely. All right, Dylan, last question for you, my friend. In a perfect world, what is the outcome when you fight in the first round of the Black Cup tournament against Dong Joo Yeo?
First round knockout. I'd say within the first 90 seconds.
Absolutely. Maybe with a big win when you get your hand
Left,
raised.
left, left high kick.
Left high kick. Okay. Mystic Dylan O'Sullivan right here picking the shots. Maybe with a big win, the U.S. flag around you.
Yes,
And your hand
sir.
raised.
U.S. flag is gonna be. Oh yeah, one of my buddies, Tate from the gym, one of my students. He gave me an American flag. It's like a real one, like the nice thick ones, and I'm gonna bring it with me. So it's going over the back for sure. And just so I didn't mention anything about it, but in Korea they don't call me the Soul Snatcher. Now I am the Dementor
The
because
Dementor.
the Soul Snatcher wasn't a good translation. So I'm still the Soul Snatcher. That will forever be. But I am. This is the 2.0. I'm the Dementor.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Dementor, thank you as always for taking the time out of your night to
Thank
talk with
you,
me.
bro.
I wish you nothing but the best, and it's going to be pretty cool to see this play out.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely. That's it for us tonight. I'm Carl Perusa. He is the Dementor. He is Mr. Dylan O'Sullivan. You can watch him taking on Dong Joo Yeo, Black Cup. Don't want to miss fight fans. Take care.